Have you noticed on how in 2019 we basically just went like, and when we opened up, it was 2022? I wonder what happened there. I have recorded this video like 4 times now, and either the angle was just fucking stupid or I just thought that it was boring. So instead of me spewing out 10 years of history of a channel that was only like 4,000 subscribers, today, to celebrate this very special day to me, I'm gonna tell you 10 things I've learned in 10 years of YouTube. Dramatic Scar edition. Some people would drink champagne in days like this. I drink tea. It's 35 degrees Celsius outside. I'm gonna sweat a lot today, I can tell. So the first thing I learned from YouTube from the year 2012 was that small things can lead to big things in ways that you can't even imagine. This channel was basically started because I was always afraid of signing up with Google Plus because, let's be real, kids, if you don't know what Google Plus is, older people won't know either. But basically this channel started when, on a normal day for me, I was watching a gameplay of Pokemon Emerald by a guy called LightStreak567. That guy had a Swampert, a Sceptile, and a Blaziken on his team, and he was exploring Artesian Cave. And in that cave, Smeargles appear, and he asked in the description, where can I find Smeargles in Pokemon Gold and Silver? And I thought, this is it. This is the time for me to create dramatic Hui. I thought I was creative with nicknames, okay? So the lesson I take from 2012 is, life is a circle. Smaller things will have bigger impacts in the long run. Sometime. The lesson I took from 2013 was, it's not okay to just take someone's content and call it as your own. And this is more of a public apology to 98 Sparks, because I used to have this series on this channel which was called Total Drama Ed and Eddie Edition, which is basically a movie maker slideshow, and it doubled as a series on YouTube, but it was just so cringe and it had so many English grammatical mistakes that I refused to share. So yeah, 98 Sparks, I'm very sorry. And I hope that one day you can, finish the series yourself. I know it wasn't cool what I did, but come on, girl. Or boy, I don't know actually. Lesson number 3, and the one that resembles 2014, is if someplace like your high school is not making you happy, then perhaps it's time for a change. I speak for myself. At this point in my life, I was extremely unhappy with who I was, and nothing in my life was actually making sense or kindling me joy. And although the lesson I took from this year is not particularly related to YouTube, eventually the actions I made in 2014 has led me to find who I was as a person and what I like to see on YouTube. Lesson number 4, resembling the year 2015, is more technical. It was this year that I've established who my favorite YouTuber was and still is till this day. ABrandonToThePast, I hope you know that I'm talking to you on this part. At around this time, YouTube channels used to have this little compartment that I think it was the community tab back then that allowed anyone to comment on it. It was like Facebook, technically. And one day I thought that I want to make content like ABrandonToThePast does, so let's ask him what software he uses. And he did, and ever since that day I've been using Sony Vegas, and it has been one hell of an adventure learning how to work with that software. And the fact that I have coped with it says how far you can come as a person if you persist. Lesson number 5, and the lesson I take from the year 2016, is it's okay sometimes to be alone. 2016 was definitely the year that I pushed more on doing YouTube content. It was a year that I tried to break out of my shell and be more social than I ever was, but it was also a year that the blunders of getting into relationships kind of pushed me down. It got to the point that all the memories I had from January and February and March of that year are either just wiped out of my memory or rain. It did rain a lot back then. But it was also a year that I decided to push more on YouTube, and the lesson I think I take from this year is the fact that if you want to do voiceover content where you include your voice and your opinions, then it will be a lot more satisfying to shove your opinions into total drama disgusting moments. So in 2016, I finally reached the goal of uploading the Animaniacs intro in European Portuguese onto YouTube. And me doing that made a lot of people in Portugal, not that many, but it was a considerable amount to me. Like, I don't know, 10 people, that's a lot, okay? Those people started creating posts on their websites and social medias about Animaniacs having a Portuguese intro. And to me, that was a great accomplishment. I put on the internet the first European Portuguese version of the Animaniacs intro. But since it was copyrighted, my channel would never grow the way I wanted. Lesson number 6 that I take from 2017 is not particularly anything, but it was at this time that people in my class were starting to catch on that I had a YouTube channel, and I didn't want them to do that. So one day in the shower, I came up with the name Drama All Around. And sometimes you can see people responding to comments I leave with that name. And yeah, I didn't like that name. But it was a placeholder name. 2017 was not a year that I focused on YouTube like at all. I think like the only thing I did this year was the Total Drama fart compilation from Owen and some disgusting moments from Total Drama as well. But that's because back then I was focusing on my summer internship, getting my driver's license, getting that international internship in Italy, Portugal winning the Eurovision Song Contest. A lot of things were happening to me in this life, and YouTube was not even my 4th or 5th priority. But it's not to say that I stopped completely learning the backends of YouTube and stuff like that. No, I worked a lot on videos and how could I make my videos look passable. And this is something that eventually progressed to 2018. The lesson I take from 2018 and lesson number 6? The lesson I take from 2018, which is lesson number 7, is using videos that are guaranteed to have views will not transmit to an audience that perhaps you want. I speak for myself. Back here, I made a video called Elise's Bitchiest Moments in Hell's Kitchen All-Stars. And although it gathered a lot of views, it taught me that views, although they are the first thing you notice on someone else's YouTube video, to you as a content creator, that's not what you want to focus on. You want to focus on the subscriber count and the like to dislike ratio. Views on YouTube, if you want to be a YouTuber, are like very frivolous, because they can range from someone that just watched 1 second to someone that watched the whole entire 20-minute video. So pick your battles. If you want to do that sort of content, I'm not going to be the one to stop you, buddy. But personally, that's not what I want my content to be, and it was very wrongful of me to think that having a very viewed video would bring people to watch my Total Drama and other things. And this was actually the year I started doing YouTube as a YouTuber and not just some rando that has been doing that for over the past 5 years. And it was also in 2018 that I came up with the idea in the shower that I would be Dramatic Scar. Why Dramatic Scar? Well, because of this right here. You see? It had to be something to do with me, as well as a previous name. And Dramatic Scar just always felt like something original to me. And I've had people say that it's a very cool name. So the lesson I take from 2019 is, it's okay to let go of something if it's in name of progress. If what made you happy in the past is getting in the way of you growing, then at some point you're gonna have to come to terms that it's best to let that thing go. It hurt me a lot to delete the Animaniacs European intro out of my YouTube channel, but I knew that that was one of the last things that was keeping me from growing as a YouTuber. And although nowadays people will never know who did it first, I still have the memory that I was the one that did it. And in my archive channel, I purposely said in Portuguese that Dramatic Scar was the first person that did this. The lesson I take from 2020, and if you keep up with your content and your content is good, in the long term, YouTube is gonna take you for a ride. With all the stuff that was going on at the time, and with us being stuck at home, that giving us a lot of more time to work on content, my channel grew a lot in the space of 1 month, probably more than it ever did in the space of 8 years at that point. Basically, the lesson I take from 2020 is, you never know the day of tomorrow, but you can at least try to predict it correctly. The lesson I take from 2021 is, well, first, bragging rights. 2021 was the year I got monetized. I love this thing so much, and I'm really proud of it. I still remember how I got it. I was in an English lecture. I sneaked up on my YouTube studio to see what was up, and there it was, the notification that told me I was accepted in the monetization program. And it made me so proud of myself. It's one of my biggest accomplishments ever, and I really like this. Thank you people, because monetization has been something that I've been applying for ever since 2019, but because so much of my content was copyrighted, there was no way I was ever going to get it. But because I cut out what I had to cut out, basically I was left with just my content and my content alone, the one that I created. And YouTube decided that I should be thrown a bone. However, this came at a time where my total drama content creation was at its lowest. Yes, it was great doing the 50 Things Right with Total Drama series, but I just was so tired of talking about total drama. And at the time, since I was 23, I guess you can understand why. I mean, I cannot relate to something that is not even new anymore, and it's not being renewed at all. Of course, when it comes back, I will obviously talk about it. But at this point, I'm just sounding like a broken record. The lesson I take from 2021 is, you cannot expect your audience to follow you everywhere you go, especially when your audience is coming to you for opinions on the niche market you are appealing to. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. Basically what this means is, if you spend so much time talking about total drama, you cannot expect your big audience to go after you. They have their own lives, and it's more than normal that they're not watching your new content, especially because the algorithm will not suggest it to you. And that's totally fine. And finally, the lesson I take from 2022 is, I'm gonna read because this is a big one. Although that can be daunting, starting fresh can be a good thing. Yes, you built your audience around the cartoon, but if talking about it, working on it, and publishing it frustrates you, then it's time to move on. For those of you that don't know, I've created a new YouTube channel where I can post the content I am proud of, and I feel okay with showing to people. At the time I created it, I was listening to a lot of 2000s music, and one song that really stuck out to me was Gwen Stefani's, what's the name? What You Waiting For? Yeah, that's the one. In that song, there is a line called, "Who really cares, 'cause it's your life, you never know, it could be great." And to me, that line really inspired me. Who knows, maybe that channel will grow a lot more than Dramatic Scar has ever done. And honestly, the future is kinda mysterious, and I want to see what it has in store for that channel. For now, I think that Dramatic Scar has had a good run, and right now it's just paused. I mean, the money that I'm getting from it is nice, but talking about total drama is taking a toll on me, and honestly, I'm just done with it for now. But yeah, these are all the lessons I've learned from being on YouTube. It helped me grow a lot as a person, and it helped me be a nicer person, I think. So if you want to start a YouTube channel, go nuts. Do whatever you feel like. I think it's important to learn things the hard way, but sometimes you can just tell your story and maybe it will resonate with at least one person. And if it resonates with at least one person, then a goal has been achieved. I can't believe this channel is now 10 years. Damn. Back then I was just so miserable with my life. Suicide actually came to my mind many times back then. But yeah, thank you for everything. Hopefully, who knows? I'll see you in 2032, I guess.